Okay, we are live. Welcome to the Ruby Monday group. Today's October 12th, 2015. We are a group of Ruby on Rails enthusiasts. We meet weekly to work on a group project. You can find us at codenewbie.org and their Slack channel. Okay, so where are we at? Did anybody make some changes, pull requests?
I'd love to get my RSpec pull request merged. 2 weeks ago, I couldn't get on this last week because it was packed.
Okay. Well, if you want to go over it, there's some merge conflicts.
Okay, let me.
But if you want to share your screen, go over what you did.
Sure. Let's see. Chat, screen share. There we go. Let me. So all I did was I added the spec subdirectory. I also added a test stub, which just says 1 should equal 1, so it always passes. And then back over here in the gem file, added our spec 330 and did a bundle install.
Can you hit Control Plus so we can see an enlargement of your screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so what are the merge conflicts?
Let's take a look. There we are. Maybe committed. Control. Okay, good questions. How do I find out about merge conflicts? I'm here at my pull request. Conversation files changed.
Mm-hmm.
Can I see merge requests from or merge conflicts from here?
You know what? I'm really sneaky. Usually I try to get my code in before anybody else so I don't have any of these issues, and I think a lot of people are like this on here. You have to compare
that too, but I did not have the ability to write. I still don't have permission to write to this or do the merge myself.
Right. Send Angel your GitHub username. Tell him, hey, I need to be fixed. But what you have to do is compare with the other commits and see where you're conflicting.
All right. Let's see. All right. So let's go back to this. Commits.
So it looks like somebody already put RSpec in there. Is that what happened?
Yeah, I think part of Victor's pull request when he added Bootstrap is he just went ahead and added some basic RSpec stuff too.
All right. I could undo my change request and remove it and work from what's already there. Let's
It
see.
might be easier, but if you want to figure out how to do a rebase, this might be a good time since we're so early into the project.
I don't see test or I see .rspec, doc format, but I don't see a separate directory for test, which I put in. Let's take a look at the gem file.
Did you put in a test directory or a spec directory?
I think I put a spec directory in. Yeah, it's not here. Maybe.
So I think in order to see the merge conflicts, you actually have to, yeah, like what Alan's saying inside the chat, you have to go ahead and pull upstream master down to your local machine, and then when you try to do that, the conflicts will happen on your local machine, and then you resolve them there.
Let's do this.
Did you guys get that?
I did. I'm going to my. Oh, how did I do that?
Gotta pull up your terminal, man.
I'm working on it. Let's just go back one. It's simple.
Doesn't Cloud9 have a automatic terminal though? Like a little window icon, because I had to use Cloud9 for my Reskill USA course because they weren't ready for their system yet.
Yeah, Cloud9 comes furnished with
Yeah.
a terminal. So let's see.
Should check your remotes first, like get remote verbose.
Robust. Like
Verbose, it's like, or you just do -V.
I think that gives me version. No, it doesn't.
No, version is for something else.
Okay, so you need to add the upstream under code newbies. So that's like get remote add upstream and then the URL.
While he's doing that, I'm looking at it. Doesn't look like much has been done since then. So I know Clayton made his own authentication system, but that wasn't our goal. He just wanted to go over it. I guess somebody's going to have to set up OAuth. And then HTTP party is, so somebody has to make the models for GitHub API to start making requests. And Alan's been writing in the chat if you're not sure what to type in the terminal.
In this order?
Should just be the last two.
Get remote add and get rebase upstream?
Yeah, that should probably fix it. You might have to do some manual merging. I think that should be able to fix everything.
URL is the GitHub Ruby committed.
It's actually, if you
There you
go, yep.
Or do you need the SSH version or HTTPS?
It should be HTTPS.
It is HTTPS. Or it had been passed.
Do you have two-factor authentication? Okay, if you don't know, it's probably HTTPS.
So while he does this, I'm going to unmute you for a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody want to take the lead on setting up OAuth on this? Don't be shy now.
Well, I don't mind, but I'm kind of new, so might need some help.
That's what we're here for. So if you need help, just ask in the Ruby channel. What we basically need to do, somebody needs to work with GitHub API, with HTTP party, and somebody else needs to work with OAuth, and you can partner up.
I don't mind working on OAuth.
Okay. And then somebody needs to set up an achievement and model controller as part of all this too.
Okay.
I already got the achievement model going. I can add a controller to go with that.
Okay, that works.
And some basic routing.
Did you, in the achievement, what have you done in the sense of generating an achievement? Have you come up with a point system? We can always change it later.
I added points to the achievement model as an integer.
Okay.
And right now the achievement has a title and a description.
Okay.
And Clayton said that he was working on an achievement model in some other application that he's currently working on, and he said he's going to steal liberally from the ideas that they already had in that application.
Okay. That's fine. Even if you make changes and he adds changes on top, that's what part of the project is.
Yeah. I made a few changes to the pull request that I went over last week.
Okay. Can you go over those changes?
Sure.
Rob, if you can stop screen sharing.
Can you guys see my screen?
I can.
Yeah.
You can?
Yep.
Okay.
Did I successfully stop sharing?
Yes, you did.
So, so Alan, Clayton made a huge argument for taking out format documentation. So we kind of decided that we were just going to take it out, and then if we wanted to get the documentation format, that we would just run it from the command line.
Yeah, I'm fine with that. It's just a matter of preference. I'm going to git ignore it and set it up on mine. I just prefer it.
Okay. So I took that out. And so do you remember, Farish, that I had TDD'd this, so I had made a bunch of migration files?
Right, and we had talked about how to approach TDD, that we need to simplify it a little bit.
Yeah. So I went ahead and removed those, and I just made one. So
Okay.
I just made one migration file with a title, description, and then I added the points as an integer to the achievement model. Just something to get started with that achievement model. And then that changed the schema a little bit. So then with the specs to go with the achievement, I took out all that stuff about the messages.
Okay.
And I changed some of the wording. So before I had to not be valid.
Right.
And I changed it to be invalid, which just adds a little bit more readability. So instead of to not be valid, I changed it to be invalid, which that was Jesus' idea. I think that sounds a lot more readable.
It does.
Yeah.
Do not sounds like Yoda.
Yeah. So, and then I took out the test stub because we don't need it anymore because we have actual specs going. And then there was just one more change I made. So I put in a context for is invalid,
Mm-hmm.
and then all the examples within that context I just shortened them up there. So is invalid without a title.
Okay.
Is invalid without a description if title already exists. So just added some more readability to our specs. And that's pretty much everything we went over last time. So we'll go to the whole thing here. And what do you guys think? Is this ready to merge?
You know what? Can I see your model? Because you said you already started the model, right?
So you want to see the actual the model file, or do you want to see the migration?
You have anything in the model?
So we got the title, presence true, and uniqueness true, because each achievement probably should have a unique title, and we should also make sure that that title's there.
Okay.
And then the description is pretty much the same thing. For each achievement that we have, if we're going to have a description about it, about what you need to do in order to gain that achievement, we should make sure that that has that, and that we don't already have another achievement in the database that is a similar thing. And then I didn't add anything for the points yet because I wasn't sure exactly how we were going to implement that feature.
Well, that's what I want to talk about next. Let me look at pull request. Okay, so yours has merge conflicts also.
Okay, yeah. I can go ahead and solve those right now if we think the code is ready to go.
Now, what I want to do as a starting achievement, I think it's ready to go. I just want to get other people's opinions in this. My idea was that when we log in, for the person who signs up, they get a default starting number of achievement points, call it 100.
Okay.
We call it achievement just for signing up.
Yeah.
That way they can see a number that grows and stuff starting from 0.
Mm-hmm.
What do you all think about that?
I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Okay, so after you resolve this, if you want to add to the model and set a default for the number of points and actual achievement for that, like
Definitely.
it would be basically a default title, achievement, and points.
Yeah, just to get one in the database.
Right.
With some default points. Yeah, that sounds really good. And then I'll go ahead and build a controller and some basic routes to go with that.
Yeah.
So you want to try to go ahead and merge this?
Yeah. If you want to clean it up.
We went over it last week, and everyone said it sounded pretty good, except for just some changes to the specs.
And then you know what? I realized that even though we haven't done authentication, somebody should probably start a user profile and a user, basically model controller profile.
Yeah.
Because we could attach the authentication to that.
So do you guys want to do a rebase or a merge?
Yes, we can open up issues for this. Do you want to open up issues first, Alan, or are you talking about Rob's issue? You could do feature issues also if you want to also add it to the Trello board. Since we're playing around with that, that would be great. And Rob, you might want to watch. He's going to try to do this right now.
Yeah. So are you watching, Rob?
Yes, I am.
Okay, so what I did here is, so Victor's pull request got merged last week. So that means upstream is different than what it was when I first pulled it down to my local machine. So in order to get the updated changes, I'm going to run git fetch upstream master. And that's what that's going to do is that's going to go to our Code Newbies repository on GitHub, and it's going to pull down the latest changes so that I have them on my machine. And then I'm going to git rebase upstream master. And what that's going to do is that's going to take the Victor's pull request that's been merged in already, and it's going to put it underneath mine so that the changes that I've made will just get stacked on top of it, so to speak. So now what's going to happen is, since Victor made certain changes to a file that conflict with mine, there's going to be merge conflicts here. So now what you can do is, after these merge conflicts happen, you can do a git status. So you can look in here and see what happened and in what files the merge conflict occurred in. So the files in green are the files that merged well, and they're staged and ready to ship. The files in red are the ones that had issues with them. So then you can use whatever text editor that you typically use for your development, and you can just go into the red files and you can take a peek at what exactly happened in there. And the way Git does it is, wherever the merge conflict happened, Git puts these markers inside the file. So this right here, these arrows and the head marker, this is your code. This is the code that you wrote. So this is my code right here. So this was bundled with 1.10.6. And then these equal signs right here, this is just a division between what I wrote and what Victor wrote. So this down here is Victor's code. So apparently this merge conflict happened just because maybe Victor is using maybe his bundler version is a different version than the one I'm using. So I think it's fine to just go ahead with mine, with the 1.10.6. Does anyone have any input on that?
Yeah, I mean, we shouldn't be running into this issue. That we ran into this in the previous project. So there's two things. Like, everyone just needs to run. There's no reason not to have like the most updated bundler version. So you can just run gem update bundler. But also, we should probably check to resolve that. We could also check bundler into the gem file. But yeah, I mean, it's just annoying because this means every time we're gonna have a merge conflict with gemfile.log.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So what I'll do here for a demonstration is just to show how exactly you would take care of this inside the file. So all you got to do is you just got to decide, which code do we want? Do we want my code or do we want Victor's code? In this case, we're just going to stick with what I had. So we can just go ahead and remove that line, and then we can just remove the markers that get put inside the file. And then this is the way it's going to look after that merge is handled. So now I'll just peek through the file one more time just to make sure there were no more of those markers anywhere. And it looks like that's the way it should be when we're going to commit it back to the repo. So when we're going to push those changes up. So I'm going to save that file, and we'll do another git status. And we'll see that it's here inside our working directory, but it's fixed now because we made those changes. So then, just like you would do if you were working, you're just going to do a git add. You can just add that gemfile.log back to your staging directory. Now both files are green, and we're good to go. Now, is what you were talking about, Alan, that change to the gem file, is that something that I could make right now, or is that something that we have to do later?
I mean, it's just really easy if everyone just updates bundler.
Oh, okay, yeah, right.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, so
I just
so
keep
now
that last time we had that problem with the Ruby Monday blog, I did the bundler update and it messed me up, but I don't recall exactly what happened. It was weird.
Are you using RVM or RRBN?
I'm using Arbenz.
Arbin.
RBENZ. Did I say it right?
Oh, okay. I've never heard of that. I mean, the other solution is you can just you can check bundler in, and then really for like every app, you should be running like bundle exec something.
And this is part of Homebrew.
So then what I'm going to do is when all your conflicts are fixed here, Git tells you what command to run. So you just run this git rebase with the continue flag, -- continue. And then, so this is one thing that I'm not quite sure about with rebases. It compares the files every single commit, right? So you have to keep fixing the merge conflicts that happen every single time.
I think it becomes easier if you use like interactive rebase. I've only used it a couple of times.
Okay. So I'm going to have to go back into the gemfile.lock here, and so this is a good this is good anyway because it gives some more examples of how to fix merge conflicts. So now I'm here at the bottom of the gemfile.log file, and we've got some merge conflicts here. And just like in the other file, the head here, this is my code, and then the equal sign divide between my code and Victor's code. So in this case, what happened is we both just added gems to the project. So there's not really an issue with whose code is right and whose is wrong. It's just because I had certain gems and then Victor had certain gems, the two lines in the file collided. So we can just go ahead and remove the markers because we actually want all of this stuff. We don't want mine or his, we want both of them. So then I'll just scroll up and look for more of those markers. And we found some more here. So let's see. Once again, it's just a conflict between the line numbers. We actually want both the Font Awesome stuff and we also want the Factory Girl stuff. So we can just get rid of the markers. And then that's it for the gemfile.log. So we'll just save the file, do a get status so we can see what's going on here, and then we just add that to the staging directory, and then do a get rebase continue. And then there's going to be another conflict. We'll just remove those markers again. This time the schema file is there's a conflict. So we're just going to go in here and we want the latest schema. This one here instead of the version 0. So we can just go ahead and remove this code here. And then the reason why this conflict happened is because there must have just been nothing in my file because I hadn't generated anything. So there's just nothing here. But in Victor's file, he actually had a table. So we can just go ahead and remove the markers once again. Okay, so now it should be all the merge conflicts should have been resolved. So I'll do a git status, and it just says nothing to commit. We got a clean working directory. So now I can just go ahead and push back up.
You got a force push on your own branch.
-- force. So now that forced the pushes back to my fork, which should automatically update the pull request. So now, Farsh, if you look at the pull request, the merge conflicts should all be resolved, and it should be ready to merge in.
And I am doing that right now.
All right.
And I am merging, so we are done with that.
Cool. Do you have any questions on any of that? All right.
Okay, Rob, so your turn. You're ready to show your merge conflicts and resolve it all? Because we just updated the master file, so you're going to have to pull it again.
Well, repetition does help train. So,
Yep.
what a learning opportunity.
It is.
It is. Oh gosh, this Google Hangouts thing is right over the code. Let me see if I can go up a little bit more. That doesn't help at all. Can't I move this? Oh yeah, look, there we go.
If you want, I'll find it again. It's a link to set up Ruby on Rails on a Windows computer. And it was really good. I know some people had used it, and they loved it.
I'm super happy with Cloud9. I gotta say, it's really opened. I can code on my phone. I can code on the iPad.
You're absolutely right.
Anywhere I'm at. If I'm in something boring, I could just crack open, and if I catch inspiration, I could start coding. So I don't know how well this is to read for you guys.
If you hit Control Plus, it'll enlarge it for us.
For most things, yes. For this, for some reason, no. Let me see.
Does Manual Sim work on Chrome for this?
No.
Top right, where your menu button is.
This is Chrome.
No, you were there. Now you go down a little bit. You should see Zoom. You'll see. Click where the main menu went up. Yeah, on Chrome. Right there.
Well, why does Control Plus work? All right. Anyway, good stuff. All right, rebase master first. Blah blah blah. Adding top onto it. Gem file says conflict in gem file locked. Attempted an auto merging and failed, and then it says there's this patch to go find. So.
Really quick, as Alan mentioned in the chat, you got to fetch again because we just did this.
Yep. Sorry, you're right. That didn't work. How do I exit the rebase?
Should be git rebase -- abort.
I did. Thank you. Sorry.
Actually, my pull request was on top of Robert's, so those commits might already they're already merged in to the master branch now. So I think everything that you're trying to merge right now is already in there.
I don't see how it can be since I never merged my stuff into the code yet.
Because when I did my pull request, I took your code and I just wrote on top of it. And I left your commits in the history.
But you know what I would say, just to be safe, he should do this.
Absolutely. Yeah.
This is where rebase is dangerous, and you could
Definitely.
wipe some amazing.
All right.
All right. I think I have to, even before I fetch the upstream, I have to remove the, remove upstream.
You shouldn't have to because it's the same upstream.
Okay.
Look what Al typed in the chat.
Rebase abort, did that.
Right below that.
Why am I not updating? Gotta fetch again, abort first. Rebase, abort. So git fetch all. Thanks. I'm gonna learn that double dash. Nice. Okay. So now we're back. And it even says right here if I needed to get rebase abort. Alright. So what am I doing here? Am I gonna browser maybe?
Just type in git status. Great. So you have to reserve the conflicts on those two files.
Okay.
I don't think you actually need that, right? Because we have RSpec Rails in the development test group.
Right. I think we can just go ahead and get rid of our spec.
Yep.
All right. So should I should edit this file and remove it?
Yeah, you should delete line 27 through 32.
And do a bundle install, which will change the gem file. No, the gem file lock will need to be modified.
It might resolve it. I don't know. Usually,
Did you save your gem file?
usually I don't like fixing merge conflicts on gemfile.log because if you fix them with gemfile, it'll except for the versioning, it's gonna fix it on your gemfile.log.
So, Alan, do you usually just go ahead and get rid of gemfile.lock and then just bundle a fresh one?
Yep. Yeah, that's what I do.
Okay.
Because that's auto-populated by Rails, right?
Right.
Or by bundler.
And it makes your life easier. That's one thing I do. Is if I'm working on somebody else's repo and there's differences in the gem files, I just delete my gem file lock. Event machine.
Just a few things. All right.
No, don't do that. You gotta do do a
Continue.
git status to see if your stuff was fixed. And then what do you have to add them to git add. It's right there where it says use git add file to mark resolution. You could probably do git add gem file and then asterisk. Or yeah, what Christopher said, just do git add all. Sorry, dash A, dash uppercase A. One dash. Uppercase A. Yep, and then do git status to make sure everything's, yeah, then you can do git rebase continue. And I think your rebase is done because that said 1 out of 1, so you should be good.
Good. All right.
So, do you know what you need to do next?
Git merge.
Nope, not git merge. So rebasing is like merge, but you do it like on top of, you basically rewind, apply all the change. Yeah, git push. There you go. That's probably gonna fail. I don't know. It might work. You probably need to force it because you rewrote history.
I want to pull.
No, you need to. You don't want to pull. You need a. What are you pushing to? You have it set up to your origin or to upstream?
Possibly origin.
So that's yours. You own that, right? So all you need to do is git push and then 1-F for force. Because the reason why, I mean, it says it right there, updates were rejected because the tip is of your current branch is behind. Basically, like the history in your local is different than your remote, right? And that's because you rewrote history with rebase. So you need to force it, saying that, hey, I have the ground truth. I need to rewrite what's on remote.
Okay.
Yeah, so you should be good to go. I don't know if you can merge it because all your commits are already there. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm curious to see what happens. So I think Farish, are you the only person with write access right now?
Yeah, I think it gave me an option to merge the pull requests.
All right.
So we'll go ahead and merge it. Hopefully we don't blow anything up.
And you're doing that.
I just did.
Oh.
And we're done. 2 more pull requests left. One is authentication, and one was HTTP party. Jem, but she's not here. But that's it for now. Okay. So where do we go from here, guys?
I just got a quick comment, just like Git and GitHub related. I posted a comment. I know it's like 2 people were using Git, and you guys had to keep logging in. So if you set up SSH and like SSH agent, you like never have to worry about that stuff. And like once you set up on your computer and you have the SSH key stored, you don't have to log in anymore. You just it recognizes you as a known host. And I posted a link there in the chat.
Awesome, thank you. Yeah, I had it set up on one of my apps, but I didn't have it set up for that repo. But is there a way you can set it up on your machine so that just all the apps that you push to?
Yeah, it should be by machine. So
okay.
it uses SSH agent to store the like the public or the private and public key, I think, and then you leave your public key on GitHub. So anytime you push from that machine or terminal, like it should accept it.
Okay, cool. I'll have to look into that. Thanks.
Right, and the key you generate there in Mac if you're on Mac but you're on Linux. On Mac, there's actually a SSH agent is built into the system, so you just activate it, save your key, tell it what key you want, and you're done. And the same thing goes with once you get to the point where you set up your own Linux server. So I have 2 VPS now. And one of them I just set up. You don't want to have to type in your user and password just to remote in.
Mm-hmm.
Set up SSH agent the same way, so you always just immediately log in as long as it comes from your computer.
Yeah.
That's basically an authentication token to take the place of logging username and password.
Cool.
Yeah, and for Rob or anyone using Cloud9, somewhere in the settings you should be able to get your keys from there, and you just like copy and paste it into GitHub.
Yeah, there is a Linux tool called SSH-copy-ID, which you can activate from your client, and it will automatically copy your public key to whatever VPS or server you're trying to SSH without a password to.
Okay. Now, we don't have much code here. We've added some more stuff to talk about. As we're building up, anything anybody feels we need to get started with this project? Bueller.
I think having a user model should be of great importance now, because all the achievements and everything is going to build upon that.
Right. And we're going to start the user model, but I don't know if anybody has any other ideas to add on to this yet.
I don't think we actually came to a conclusion on how we wanted to implement that because Clayton built one out from scratch, but we decided we weren't going to use that. Did we decide on Devise or?
I think Device works with OAuth.
Yeah.
Just wanted to make a point of building your authentication, which is a good point, and the Hurdle tutorial will teach you that. But we're going to do it the efficient, lazy coder way. We're going to do it with Device and OAuth. And that's what we're going to focus on. But Clayton likes challenges, and that was his challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And if anybody else wants to build their own authentication system, you're more than welcome to, but we're probably going to stick with what's the industry standard. Was it Pundit for authorization? Or that's what you're suggesting?
I'm just suggesting we use Pundit for authorization.
What is Pundit versus OAuth?
OAuth is for authentication, and Pundit's for authorization.
Correct.
Oh, okay. So, has anybody used Pundit?
Yeah, we use it in the Ruby Monday blog.
Is that what we end up using?
Yep.
I thought we used CanCan. Why was I thinking, or was that in there and it got taken out?
No, I think it was always Pundit.
Okay. Color me confused then. For some reason I was thinking CanCan, or maybe somebody talked about it. So does anybody want to start tackling authentication now? Or do you want to do that after the user model?
I have no problem implementing or adding Device to the system, but I have actually no experience with integrating it with OmniAuth.
I think it's in the documentation.
Yes, true. I'm going through it right now, actually.
Because I believe, yeah, OmniAuth overview in the wiki. Let's also have some fun with this. Why don't we make it that if we're going to use OmniAuth and integrate Twitter with GitHub, let's make sure that when we pull the profile picture, it pulls it off Twitter. And if we absolutely have to, instead of Heroku, we can probably use my slow VPS because it still works faster than Heroku. Host a site.
I mean, wouldn't it depend if you're logging in with Twitter? It should probably pull the profile up of Twitter if you're logging in with GitHub.
We're starting with Twitter and GitHub, where you can, because we have to authenticate you for your API and commits. So you can pull either or. I believe we can set it up for that option. But what we want to do for initial authentication is Twitter, and then expand to Facebook and anything else that uses OAuth.
Okay.
To expand the scope of that.
Okay.
But Twitter is the starting point, yes.
Okay. So let's discuss the user model. How's it?
Okay. So what do we want in a user model? We want a name.
Mm-hmm.
What would you expect on there? A little bio?
Mm-hmm.
Hi, my name is Farish. I like to code, looking for fellow coders. Make it sound like, what's that website? Like a dating website. Yeah.
So name, bio, and picture?
picture, a link to GitHub repository. All right, take it easy on.
Plenty of fish.
Wow. There's this little comedy skit where the person does making fun of Christian single profiles, but not because they're Christian, but because they were married 4 times and looking for a date, which you're not really supposed to do. You know. But, you know, it's like, you know, hi, how are you?
Yeah. Have you been making any API calls to Diablo 3 lately?
No, you know what? But that thing works, and I'm really happy that it's gone there. I should just finish it, wrap it up, and put it on the Battle.net API forms for whoever wants to use it.
Yeah.
And do that. Some guy made a what's called D3 planner, where you plan your gear and stuff like that. I was thinking maybe I should inspect that code and hijack it and make my own version. Be a jerk about it.
Yeah.
And do it for my own project.
Mm-hmm.
As a statement. And then what I'll do is I'll make the whole thing open source and say, okay, if anybody else wants to copy this, take it. Because then what is he really going to do? You know, that's a little evil, but I thought about it.
Yeah.
Right now, I think I showed Mo this. I'm working on invoice software.
What's that?
I'm working on personal invoice software, and I'm using design. And what I'm doing is basically, I don't know how many of you guys in this group use Mac. I hate Mac invoice software.
Okay.
Everything I've ever used stinks. The invoice software I'm using right now, for some reason, won't let me, it reset all my invoice numbers. So I have to manually count in my head, figure out what was the last invoice number I used, because otherwise it wants me to go back too far off, and then what happens is if I use the same invoice number, I can't find my old ones.
Oh.
So I started, and I only have the basics, but you know what? Since this is supposed to be code sharing anyways, let me get this running.
Yeah.
And it's not much. Let me, all I have is add the client and make changes. But I was using Ajax calls for this, so let me go here.
I was thinking, should the points go on the user model?
The points should be on the achievement model, and then they'll play on the user. I think it should be independent of the user.
Like a total score, something like that, could be on the user model.
Exactly, and then what you do, just make it dependent if the user deletes his account, that it gets deleted.
Right.
Okay, so let me share my screen. And right now, all I have is the starting of a client list. And what I wanted it to do, this is so small, I was trying to figure out which name it is. I don't think it's this, but I'll give it a try. Let's see. What do you guys see? Nope, that's my other screen. This is what happens when you have multiple monitors, too. Let's see what this one is. Okay, let me enlarge this. So you guys see this, right? So I used Baker, and then some of these are my own, to generate 50 clients, hypothetical. And this is all design off, but what I wanted to do, the biggest thing was do an Ajax call and have this load in real time. So, well, close to real time. Right here, I've add a client, does this pretty little pop-up design. And
okay.
What did you use for that nice pop-up?
Actually, this is Bootstrap, and then what I did was, here, I'll show. Tell me if it goes to the next tab. Did it go to this other tab with the space showing
Yeah,
right here?
it did.
Okay. So in Boots Watch, it's Bootstrap, but different themes. And what I looked for was something that was close to material design, so they called this paper. And it gives you a look and feel of the Android, was it 5.0?
Not sure.
But this is how the form looks like, and then just copy the modal. So if I click here, that's the code I use, but this pop-up feeling. So if I go here and let's say edit the client, it pops out all the information.
That's nice.
And this is all the info. So if you people watching this see my address, this is something I lived 15 years ago, so it doesn't matter. And cancel it, and I'm going to go into one of these where, okay, now I want to change this. And let's say I just want to get rid of them. They fired the 2 partners. Save it. And it updated this through an Ajax call in the background. So there's no delay, no refreshing. It's there, but you don't see it.
Cool.
And the only other thing here is to go to the client, but there's nothing here yet. So I basically did the new model, the edit, and now I'm going to do the delete, and then I'm going to start working on invoices. And if you're in the Rails channel, you might be seeing me ask questions recently about how to approach it. So what I'm actually going to do here is I'm going to have the invoice model, but then I'm going to have an accounting model. Because one of the very first things I learned is why would you ever use, and I don't know if people talk to you about this, why would you have a default value for anything in a program? And I can't think of his last name. My mentor at the time, his name was Victor, told me, well, if you ever use accounting software, when you send out an invoice, you want to track whether it's paid or not. So the default you want to set it as is not paid.
Mm-hmm.
That way you know it hasn't been paid. And that way you can also count how many days it's been since it's been paid.
Right.
Paid. And I'm probably going to set up just payment tracking in one model and then like a balance accounting, because one of the things I showed Rob was D3 for Rails.
Oh, yeah.
On how to use D3, which is the JavaScript to make charts in Rails. And let's go in here, D3 JS, was it here? Which one did you use, Rob? The Sunburst or something else?
Sorry. Oh, hold on.
Like you could make a bubble chart. And what I found out is that with the way D3 works, all you do is take whatever data you have, you send it to JSON, and it will, once you set up everything properly, it will automatically generate these charts based off the JSON data you use.
Cool.
I didn't mean to shout that, but it looks really cool, the boot swatch. What was your question before?
What were you using? Because I showed you D3 JS.
Oh, yeah. Do you mind if I share?
Yeah, let me stop sharing. Go ahead.
Okay, so this is that gamification I was going after, and you saw how my graphics were, and you pointed me to D3. Oh, wow, that growth just maintains. So we got these numbers. Here's my character, and I've got all these percentages, and it sucks a lot.
I can't see the screen, can you?
Nope.
Sorry, hold on. Let me, oh, that's why. Didn't finish, sorry. Okay. Well, everything's set up then. So, this is a gamification thing. I do tasks, and in the tasks I get base skills like communication, reading, writing, memory, investigation, and best practices. And that's coming over in this really boring percentage, not even a percentage, it's still dot decimal. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so here's a problem with, so this is the horrible, better, it's better, slide bars, and, then Farish looked at that and pointed me to D3, so, oh, I didn't want D3JS, I want this. Boom. And I have to bring that down, hold on. Not that. I have to de-zoomify.
Is that from the basic tutorial I showed you?
That's from D3.
No, but did you use the basic tutorial I sent you or linked to you for D3?
Probably not. I just scanned D3. And
Okay.
I did go to the tutorial eventually, but I did play around with it.
And that's something to do with achievement points, achievements once we get into different categories.
You want to get your achievement. If you're doing achievement points up to a certain level, it can get to level 2.
Well, the only thing is, when you have a percentage, you're implying there's an end. And in true gamification, the idea is it never ends.
True. I was hoping you get to 100%, and then you hit level 2, and you go back to 0 again.
You could do that, and maybe some people like that because it's amazing. I was going back to Diablo 3. They talk about achievements, categories, stuff like that, and there's a rare group of people in most games where they'll do something unique that isn't necessarily part of the game or even part of the achievement system, but it has such high difficulty that they want to do it just to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a psychological base that some people have and players have. And that's something, there might be people who do that in something like this, where, we're going to do something that nobody's done before because I want to be the first or one of the few to do it.
Yeah.
Hey, Zeus, did you see what I put in there? That's pretty simple for D3. But I haven't looked at ChartKit
Okay.
either. Well, there is a good tutorial on ChartKit, and I'll put this out there. There's a great resource. It's called Rich on Rails, and he has a lot of good tutorials, and he'll update them from time to time. He has one about ChartKit that I'm seeing right now, and it's not that old from the looks of it, which is one of my big issues. Sometimes I look for tutorials and it's 6 years old, and the code's different, and it causes confusion. Okay, was there anything else for tonight? This might be a short night.
So I'm going to hit up the achievements controller
Okay.
with some routing, and I'll get an initial achievement in the database, which will be just the first achievement that you get upon signing up. And then however many points, maybe 10 points or 15, I guess we'll talk about our point structure a little bit later. But did anyone decide to take OmniAuth or?
I was thinking of doing that. Create the basic user model with Devise and OmniAuth. I'll try to get some progress, then I'll post it on the group, and move ahead depending on the feedback I get.
Definitely.
Quick question. Once I set up Devise and OmniAuth with the user model, what about testing with RSpec? I'm pretty new to RSpec, so.
There's two ways you can do this. One, you can actually make a fixture with user information and make sure everything matches. I forgot about, off the top of my head, it might be has password, like, for example, to check the password, because there's once with Devise, the password itself is encrypted.
Yes.
So I don't recall. I have to look it up. But you can use a factory also.
I'm leaning towards that.
And Factory Girl's already in there, so you can factory a user.
That's what I'm leaning towards.
And what I would do is just make, example, email, and you can make multiple users too if you wanted to set up 2 or 3.
What about Faker? Didn't you mention last time that Faker has some problems with Factory Girl?
You know what? I think that was. I might have been wrong, because that invoice software I showed you Factory Girl and Faker.
Oh, okay. All right. So I could try using a combination of Factory Girl and Faker. See how that goes.
And what I did, just to let me go into my own GitHub profile, is that way you can see it to create multiples. Come on. Let me go with Vim.
Farsh, do you have the ability to add contributors
No.
to the project repo? Okay.
I would do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think we might have to talk to Saron and see about adding a second person to add people. I'm trying to find my Faker data, and I am blanking out here. I found my factory. And this was why I was starting to play around with Sublime Text again. All right, I'm trying to find my Faker data, and I'm blanking out. Okay, I'm being stupid. It was in my seeds, RP. And what I did was in the database, and you can do the same. I want to share my screen. Okay. Now, do you see this, or did it still go infinite?
And I can see it, but if
We
you
can
zoom
see
in-
it. A little small. Yeah.
I'm enlarging it. Just want to make sure you see it first. So what I basically did is here, I generated the factory and the seeds RV. And then if you want, let's say this is 52 users, and you want unique emails just to test uniqueness and stuff like that, you could just do right here this little n+1, and it'll generate a additional user.
Okay.
But because it is random, it might be better if you do a factory for the user.
Hmm.
Let me stop sharing. Okay, was there anything else? Well, I think we're going to call it an early night then.
Sounds.
Thanks everybody for coming.
Thanks, Irish.
Thanks, everybody.
Let's see what you guys get done for next week. And reach out in the Ruby Monday channel if you need help, if you get stuck. There'll be plenty of us around to help you out.
Perfect.
All right, I'm going to stop broadcasting now.